What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Further Review. This is the second episode of the rebrand called After Further Review. If you remember, the show used to be called The Locker Room with Ryan Stoudt. Now it is called After Further Review. And of course, it is still hosted by yours truly, Ryan Stoudt. We're back. Another week, another Wednesday here to talk about some sports. But before we get into that, I do just want to say a few things, again, before we get into all the sports. So, first of all, if you have not checked out Crunch Time Sports Show hosted by John Mark Stivers or Top Notch Sports Talk hosted by Landon Hammonds, please, please, please go check those out. Those are two great sports shows, a lot of sports content that you're going to want to check out there. Young and up and coming, just like myself. We have big dreams, and this is how we shoot for the stars, I guess. So, Crunch Time Sports Show hosted by John Mark Stivers, that is on YouTube, as well as Top Notch Sports Talk, hosted by Landon Hammond. Speaking of John Mark, he's in the chat right now. John Mark, thank you for the support. Also, if you are finding me for the very first time, this is a show I do called After Further Review. This is by no means a professional podcast whatsoever. This is a way for me to practice in the realm of sports media. It's what I want to do in the future. It's what I want to do as my career. Heading off to college in the fall, and this is a phenomenal way for me to practice. So, I actually started this podcast close to 2 years ago now. In October, it'll be 2 years. I stopped for a while. I did shows here and there when I could. And then when the new year started, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a rebrand. I'm going to start doing the show more often. I'm going to start posting on the TikTok more often. By the way, if you want to go and check out some more sports content, get updates on when shows are happening, things like that, go ahead and check out my TikTok, Ryan.Stout. That is Stoudt. That's how you spell my last name. And all lowercase Ryan.Stout. It's going to be the podcast logo that you'll see on YouTube or all podcast streaming platforms once this episode releases, as well as you can look at it from the first episode as well. With all that said, we got a lot to talk about and very little time to talk about it today because I am a little bit busy tonight, but I wanted to get a show into you guys. This show is going to be 45 minutes at max. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Starting off, we're going to go to the NFL. We're going to talk about Super Wild Card Weekend, some of the shocking things that happened, some of the big games. I'm going to give you my awards for Player of the Week, Coach of the Week, Game of the Week for the upcoming week, and then my lock and upset as well. And then we're going to talk one NBA topic, just like we did last week, and that'll be it for the show. If you remember, last week's show was probably about 35 to 40 minutes, so this shouldn't go any longer than that. With all of that said, now that we've got all that out of the way, let's jump right into our sports topics for today. And we're going to start in the NFL because Wild Card Weekend is officially over. Now, if you missed Wild Card Weekend, you didn't get to watch any of the football games, I don't know, you were busy doing God knows what. There's not many things to be busy with to not watch football. But if by some stretch of the imagination you missed any of the games this week, here were your winners. The Bengals defeated the Raiders. The Chiefs defeated the Steelers. The Niners defeated the Cowboys. Props to me. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I did call that. The Buccaneers beat the Eagles. The Rams beat the Cardinals, which we'll talk about in just a second. And I feel like I'm missing one. Bengals beat the Raiders. Steelers beat the... Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, Chiefs beat the Steelers. Who am I missing? Well, let's look in the divisional round now. Okay, so the Bengals play the Titans. And, okay, yes, okay, and the Bills beat the Patriots. That was the other one. And we're going to break some of those games down now. We're going to break two of those games down now before I give you my weekly awards. So first up, Monday Night Football. The first time an NFL wildcard game was on Monday Night Football was Cardinals at the Rams. And again, if you watch my TikTok, you know that before the game, give me 1 second. Headphones are being weird. Anyway, if you watch my TikTok, before the game started, I gave a prediction. I said that it was going to be close. I said that this was going to be a shootout. This was going to be the game to watch this week. And boy, was I dead wrong. I was dead wrong. Final score 34-11 Los Angeles Rams. This was not even close. And I want to give credit to Louis Riddick because watching the game, he had one of he had one of the most brilliant comments of the night calling this game. He said that once it was 14 nothing early, he said this game is over. Because with a team like the Rams, when you allow a team like the Rams to go up 2 scores, their defense is going to do the rest. They definitely have a top 5 defense, if not the best defense in the NFL. So Stafford goes in early, throws a touchdown pass to Odell. They make that connection. Both, by the way, getting their first playoff wins. He makes that connection, goes in for a QB sneak, gets a touchdown, 14-0 already. And then that's in your mind when you're watching a Rams game and they go up by 2 or more scores. That's an uh-oh, because the defense just started going ham. Let's look at this. Let's look at this stat line a second for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray had 137 yards and 2 interceptions. I'm going to say that again. He had 137 yards and 2 interceptions in 4 quarters of football. The 2 interceptions I can see, but 137 yards. The Arizona Cardinals didn't even cross half field until the second half of the game, or the second quarter. It was absurd. There was a play in the first half, middle of the first half, I want to say, where Kyler's backed up in his own end zone, snaps the ball. Kyler rolls out to the right and almost gets sacked. It's almost a safety. And he just, instead of throwing it away, he heaves it up to try and get somebody to catch it. And that was one of the worst plays I've ever seen. Walk in for a 5-yard pick six. That was just one of the picks that the Rams had. I mean, my God. And let's look at some of the names on this Rams defense, okay? Aaron Donald, who is by far the best defensive player in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey, who I know is the best safety in the NFL. Von Miller, who's past his prime, but he's still a weapon on that defense. Rushing off the edge, he had a sack on Kyler Murray Monday night. And my God, the Rams never looked better. If you watch my TikTok, you saw that I said the X factor of the game was going to be Matt Stafford. And if Matt Stafford had his confidence. And my God, did Matt Stafford have his confidence. Matt Stafford threw for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns being to Odell Beckham Jr., by the way. I think he might have thrown one more to Cooper Kupp, but it might have gotten taken back. On ESPN scoreline said he threw 2 touchdowns. But again, don't quote me on that. Maybe they did call Cooper Kupp's a touchdown. John Mark in the chat says I thought Ramsey was a cornerback. So, I mean, if he is a cornerback, he's either a cornerback or a safety. He's one of the two. Whatever he is, he's the best at his position. We all know it. So, when you have, in my opinion, 2 of the top 5 defenders in the game on one defense, plus Von Miller, who's proved that he can still be a dominant rusher off the edge, plus Eric Waddle, who's out from retirement. He was a great safety when he played. I mean, my word, this Rams defense is going to be tough to stop. They are going to be seriously, seriously tough to stop. They just proved in one playoff game, in one wild card playoff game, that they are the team to beat in these playoffs. Last week, I said that Green Bay was going to the Super Bowl. I didn't think there was a team that could beat Green Bay. I'm gonna hold true to that and say that I think Green Bay's probably still going to the Super Bowl. But the NFC Championship just became very, very clear. The NFC Championship, we're going to see the LA Rams heading out to Lambeau Field to play the Green Bay Packers. I don't see any other outcome. And I'll talk about that in a second too, with my lock and upset. But the Rams are the team to beat. It dawned upon me Monday. I'm watching this game. I said, I don't think I've ever seen the Packers perform this well this season. And the Packers are the team that I picked to go to the Super Bowl on the NFC side. It's absurd. The game plan playing against a team like the Rams has got to be keep it within one score. If you keep it within one score, you can practically shut the defense down. I would go as far to say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week have a better shot of beating the Rams than the Green Bay Packers would. Again, I'm going to stick to my gut. I'm not going to take my pick back because I already made it. I'm going to stick to my gut and say that the Green Bay Packers are going to the Super Bowl. Which I know, bold statement with the flag behind me there. Which way is it? There it is. My Minnesota Vikings flag, my shirt, defend the North. But my God. Whew. Have mercy. The LA Rams. But the Green Bay Packers, they're looming. And we're about to see how much that bye week did to them. Because sometimes a bye week isn't good when you're on a roll in the NFL. I'm not saying, and again, I'm not saying that San Francisco is going to beat Green Bay. If I can switch to that game for a second. I'm not saying San Francisco is going to beat Green Bay. But sometimes, when you're on a roll, that bye week hits, it just hits you wrong. Because you had all that momentum, you take a week off, and you're just not the same. Whereas San Francisco just came off of the upset of the playoffs, again, which I predicted to happen, as well as many other people. They beat Dallas, kicked Dallas out of the playoffs. San Francisco is on a roll right now. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to beat a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I really don't. Especially not this Green Bay Packers team. But, hey, never say never. We're about to see how much that bye week did to Green Bay. Switching over to the AFC side of things, the Bills with a blowout win as well over the Patriots on the back of Josh Allen's 5 touchdown passes for 308 yards. Josh Allen put up 5 touchdowns and 308 yards. And that is a unanimous pick for Player of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go ahead and say that early before I even do my segment on my rapid segment, I should say, on Awards of the Week. I only have 2. Okay, you know what? I'll do it now. Josh Allen is the Player of the Week with 5 touchdowns, 308 yards over the Patriots. The Coach of the Week, who I also gave an award to, Sean McDermott from the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills had an all-around performance that was just amazing. I don't know who played better this weekend. I don't know if it was the Bills or Rams. From a defensive side of things, the Rams played much better. From an offensive side of things, the Bills played much better. All around, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you who played better this weekend. But you know what? I could tell you who the worst team of the playoffs was because again, that was the Arizona Cardinals. The Patriots did not do as bad as the Arizona Cardinals. And here's the thing. Josh Allen has had an off year. Josh Allen wasn't doing Josh Allen things this year. The Bills weren't doing Buffalo Bills things this year. I lost a lot of trust in the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen just proved all the haters wrong. Josh Allen went out in, I want to say, -4 degrees. I don't even know how cold it was. It was freezing in Buffalo. I mean, watching that game, you could see all the players on the field. You could see their breath. I mean, it was that cold. They had space heaters on the sidelines. That's how cold it was. So this guy goes out into the bitter cold, throws 5 touchdown passes en route to a victory, and 308 yards. Josh Allen's back. I don't know how far it's going to take him, but Josh Allen is back. Make no mistake about it. And the Buffalo Bills are now a force to be reckoned with, just like the Rams. The question being, with the rest of the AFC teams, are the Bills a contender for the Super Bowl? Time will tell. This weekend we'll know. If the Bills beat the Chiefs this weekend, they're going to the Super Bowl. And I'll say that one again too. If the Bills beat the Chiefs this weekend, they're a Super Bowl team. They're 100% a Super Bowl team. I mean, what more could you ask for out of Josh Allen and 5 touchdown passes and 308 yards? Devin Singletary rushed for a touchdown. He looked good. This Bills team is complete right now. And again, I'm holding true to my prediction of either. Well, now, no. Last week I said that I didn't have an AFC prediction. I'm going to hold true to my prediction of one of the teams, and I'm going to say it's going to be the Chiefs and the Packers in the Super Bowl. I'm going to hold true to that. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills or the Los Angeles Rams sneak in there. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So, I got through the Bills. I got through my coach of the week. Now let me give you some predictions for the coming week. The games this week are as follows. The Bengals play the Titans in Tennessee. The Bills head to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. The Rams head to Tampa Bay and Raymond James Stadium to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Niners head to Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers. So, 2 things. Well, 2 segments. This is 2 segments here. Game of the week and my lock and upset. We're going to start with game of the week. I think it should come as no surprise that this week's game of the week is the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. The winner, I just said it. I just said it. The winner of this game, the winner of the Bills and the Chiefs, is Super Bowl bound. A 100%. The winner of the Chiefs and the Bills is going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to make a prediction on who wins the Super Bowl yet. I'm going to do that Super Bowl week because last year I made a prediction on who was going to win the Super Bowl, and my Super Bowl pick was dead wrong. So to spare me somewhat, I'm going to wait till the Super Bowl week to make my Super Bowl winner prediction. But I can tell you who I think is going to be in it. And again, I'm holding true that the Chiefs are going to win this game. You want to watch an entertaining game, though, folks? You watch the Chiefs and the Bills this weekend. Watch the slugfest that comes out of this. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus not Nick Singleton. Devin Singletary. Tyreek Hill versus Emmanuel Sanders. Or versus Stephon Diggs. It's going to be a shootout. And it is going to be fun to watch. And that might even be an understatement. My lock and upset of the week. My lock this week goes to the Los Angeles Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Call that a hot take if you want. I'm betting against Tom Brady this week. I'm betting against playoff Tom. I think they're done for in the divisional round. I will go as far to say, as long as Tom Brady stays in Tampa Bay, they're not going to win another Super Bowl. You call that a hot take if you want to. As long as Tom Brady's in Tampa Bay, they're not winning another Super Bowl. And as long as Matt Stafford stays in LA, they're a threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As long as Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay, they're a threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who knows? When my Vikings get a new coach and GM next year, maybe they'll be a threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I think the Vikings are a complete team. And they're a good coaching staff away from being contenders. And I say that with no ounce of bias in me whatsoever. The Vikings are one good coaching staff away from being legit contenders. So let's look at this now. Assume Tom Brady stays in Tampa. He's got to be looking over his shoulder for the Rams, the Packers, possibly the Vikings, maybe the 49ers. We'll see how good Trey Lance turns out to be, because I think this is Jimmy G's last year in San Francisco. The Dallas Cowboys, even though they can't win a playoff game to save their lives. Thank you, Jerry Jones. Whew. Tampa Bay's in trouble, folks. And the Rams are going to win this game this week. Rams are kicking playoff Tom to the curb. And I think his time is done. I think the era of playoff Tom is over. All credit where credit's due. Tom Brady's won more Super Bowls than any franchise in NFL history. 7's where the number's going to stay. As long as he's in Tampa, 7's where the number's going to stay. My upset of the week. Landon, I hope you're watching this. I really hope you're watching this podcast, because my upset of the week, Who Dey Nation, the Bengals are going to go to Tennessee. They're going to take care of business in Tennessee. They're going to take care of the Tennessee Titans, and the Bengals are going to win that game. My AFC championship right now is the Chiefs and the Bengals, and my NFC championship is the Packers and the Rams. Imagine that. Not only do you get a shootout this week between the Bills and the Chiefs, imagine Joe Burrow in his sophomore season going up against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship. I think it's going to happen. The Bengals are riding a lot of momentum right now, and I think the Bengals are going to the AFC Championship. Who Dey Nation, stand up, because this is your year. Not to win a Super Bowl. I must have said this a couple months ago. Give the Bengals 3 or 4 years, maybe even 2. They're Super Bowl contenders. Bengals are on the come up. And they're the upset of the week this week, in my book. So again, my AFC Championship pick, Bengals, Chiefs. My NFC Championship pick, Packers, Rams. My Super Bowl pick, as it stands this week, my Super Bowl pick, I'm sticking to it, Chiefs and Packers. Don't ask me who's going to win that game either, because I'm not picking until Super Bowl week, like I said. Chiefs and Packers in the Super Bowl this year. I still think that Last Dance storyline in Green Bay has something to do with it. Moving on to our final topic of the day. In the NBA, Magic Johnson this week called out the 22-22 Lakers, saying, quote, "Us as Lakers fans deserve better." And basically said they, as Lakers fans at least deserve the Lakers to hustle. In a nutshell is what he said. So now there's this whole question around the sports world of, was Magic Johnson justified in calling the Lakers out? And the answer is 110% yes. 110% yes, he was. Because when Magic Johnson says something, it doesn't matter what team in the NBA it is. When Magic Johnson says something, you listen. He just got the attention of the entire league. We know, and told everybody how he feels about the Lakers, let alone the Lakers, a team that Magic Johnson played for. Stephen A. Smith said it this week on First Take. When Magic Johnson says something, he's going to get the attention of the Lakers. And none of those Lakers are going to go back up against him, because Russell Westbrook just sort of blew it off in an interview. That's how much power Magic Johnson holds in the NBA, folks. And he was 110% justified in calling the Lakers out. I'm going to tell you right now, the Lakers are sitting 8th in the West at 22-22. Mark my words, this team is a joke. They are a pathetic team in the NBA, and they are a joke. LeBron's not making the playoffs this year. He might make the play-in. Actually, I'll give him that. He's going to make the play-in. The Lakers aren't making the playoffs. The Lakers aren't going to be a top 8 seed after the play-in. JJ Redick yesterday said all of these guys are past their prime. Every single one of these guys are past their prime. He's not wrong. Russell Westbrook has always been overrated, in my opinion. Anthony Davis is injury prone. LeBron's past his prime. He's getting ready to hang it up soon. He says he wants to play with Bronny. Carmelo Anthony is he's past his prime. Dwight Howard's past his prime. Avery Bradley's past his prime. This team might as well be a retirement home. They're no good. This team is no good. Again, they're a joke. And Magic Johnson was 110% justified in calling these Lakers out. And that's where we're going to leave the show today. That is where we leave the show. That is it for the topics. Like I said, short and sweet today. Look at that. Just under 30 minutes by the time I wrap this thing up. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, you want to hear more just like it, go ahead and tune in to After Further Review weekly on YouTube and all podcast streaming platforms. And again, if you want more sports content, go ahead and check out Crunch Time Sports Show hosted by John Mark Stivers, or I'm blanking on the name again. Top Notch Sports Talk with Landon Hammonds. Jeez Louise. So two great guys. Go ahead and check out more sports content there. Check out my TikTok, Ryan.Stoudt. That's Stoudt, all lowercase. The TikTok logo is the same as the podcast logo. And again, thank you guys so much for your support. This has been the second episode of After Further Review.